and welcome to our testing tips video. In today's video, I'm going to review some tips that I found to be useful while I'm testing a study on the Eureka Platform's websites. This video is going to be solely for testing SOLARS on web. I'll send another video along in a couple of days when we're ready to test out mobile to review how to test the SOLARS website on mobile because they're slightly different. Now, before I begin and go through testing tips, I want to highlight the importance of testing because testing isn't something that you're just going to be doing now while we're getting your study up and running and live. It's something that's going to be done continuously. For right now, though, we are focused on testing SOLARS on stage for design, content, and functionality before we push your study to production. Once your study is on production, we will test again, or you will test again for design, function, and content. And then once your study is live, periodically, in what we call spot checks, you'll test your study to ensure that it is continuing to perform as expected. And the reason for this is because with software development and deployment, bugs are randomly surfacing, and you want to make sure that you catch any bugs on your website to nip things in the bud as soon as possible. So with that being said, I currently have open the SOLARS website on stage, and again, you can tell because of this hhcheck.io in the URL. And the SOLARS website should look very familiar. All of this information is information that you guys provided and that we worked on with the mock-ups. So the design, the content, the functionality should all be very familiar to you. And what I want you to do is I want you to go through all of the tabs on the top right-hand corner and review each page for design, content, and functionality. So what that means is I want you to go through and read everything. I want you to double check any links to make sure that those are working, as a participant would expect that they would. You'll review the links at the bottom here as well. And for your source of truth, or what you should be using as your guide, please have open the SOLARS mockups. Again, just to make sure that design, content, and functionality is working as intended from the mockups. So the mockups are going to be your guide for testing all of these pages and the website. And additionally, once you've finished testing all of the tabs and the content and functionality there, you're going to start creating a test user. So again, we're only going to go through how to create and test on web. Create a test user on web. In a separate video, we'll talk about mobile, so you can go ahead and disregard these two buttons here. There are two ways of creating a test user on the SOLARS website on stage. There's the Join the Study pathway, where you will create a test user and proceed through the study as a study participant would. So if I click on Join the Study, I'll see the pledge page. And then I will proceed to this Eureka sign up page where I will create my own test user. If I go back to the home screen by clicking on the logo, there's also a shortcut method of creating a test user, and that's by clicking on this Get to the Choppa button. Get to the Choppa is a way to bypass the sign up screen so that you don't have to create your own test user. The Eureka platform will assign you a test user that we've already created, and you can test the SOLARS study website using that test user. So please create test users using both methods, using the join the study and the get to the CHOPA, because you want to test the study as a study participant, and then once you've done that a number of times, it'll be useful to bypass the sign up page, especially if you're trying to test smaller or more complex features. Okay, for demoing purposes, I'm going to click on Get to the CHOPA, and I'm seeing this enter your phone number. I'm going to click I don't have a cell phone number at this time, again, just for demoing purposes, but the Eureka platform now requires, or asks, I should say asks because it is still optional, asks participants to enter in their mobile phone number and then will verify their mobile phone via text and a verification code. However, I've bypassed those steps and now I'm in the eligibility screen, and one important item that I want to review before I go through this eligibility screen with you is that as you're testing the study, I want you to wear different hats. I want you to test the study as somebody who is eligible, as somebody who is ineligible, and see what you would expect as a participant to be seeing. I want you to jump around a little bit. I want you to also try, moving through the study in a linear fashion as well, because some participants might do one or the other, or a mixture. So try out or wear these different hats and think like a participant and try out the study to see if you're seeing anything that might need to be refined. Okay, that being said, I'm on this eligibility survey. I'm going to go through it as somebody who is eligible, just entering in random data right now, which is fine because I'm just testing the study. Okay. Now I'm seeing this, congratulations, you're eligible to participate. And I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to go to the second item that you should have up when you are testing a study, and that is the study flow diagram. The study flow diagram is the flow that we determined a participant should go through on the SOLARS study. So using the study flow diagram is very important while you're going through the study as a test user, because you want to verify that you're seeing the screens that you should be seeing and you're proceeding through the pathway that you should proceed through as a study participant. So for example, for mobile onboarding, for onboarding in general, not just mobile, but for onboarding in general, I should see the eligibility screen, and then I'll see the pre-DocuSign, I'll see the consent, and then the kickoff page, and then I'll see the surveys in this linear fashion. And that's just the study flow. In addition to the study flow, there's also messaging information that's really important. And there's the DocuSign information and the admin panel information, so coordinator proxy data entry and coordinator forms. All of that information on the study flow diagram will be present in your study, and you want to use the study flow to double check that that information is accurate on the website. So, focusing on the flow right now. This is the eligible screen. Now I should see the pre-DocuSign page, which I am seeing. Make sure you review the content here and click on these links. I'm going to click on continue to sign, and I should see the DocuSign consent. For the consent is one of the most important parts of the study. Please review the consent, make sure it's the right version, make sure all the content that you would like to show your study participants is included. Make sure you read the consent and go through it with a very fine-tooth comb. Now I'm seeing the kickoff page, and that takes me to the first survey, which is demographics. Great. So that flow proceeded as expected. I clicked on the logo, and now I'm seeing the home screen for the study participant here, Israel Dooley. And just one item to note about the name. The Eureka platform just gave me a random name. It didn't take into consideration the study's inclusion criteria. So you can go ahead and take this name as a grain of salt. Because Israel obviously wouldn't be, well, depending on the gender, but if we're assuming Israel's male name, they wouldn't have been included in this study most likely. Okay, so now we're looking at the home screen, and if I scroll through, I can see a list of all the surveys for SOLARS. I can see the number of questions and the amount of time, or the estimated amount of time it'll take to complete them. And when you're creating your test users, again, go through the study and complete all the surveys in a linear fashion, or try jumping through them and being more selective and see how that works. But the surveys are the most important part of the SOLARS study, so make sure you also go through the SOLARS surveys with a very fine-tooth comb and review branching logic, study questions, answer responses, all of that. Okay, so this is my test user, Israel Dooley, and we went through the home screen. Let's click on Settings. In the Settings tab of the participant's profile, I will see the participant's email and password, phone, name and address, and then next of kin emergency contacts aren't fields that are asked on the Eureka platform, so those won't be populated. But in consents, we should see the SOLARS consent, and then there's an optional Eureka privacy policy. I'm going to click on the admin panel that I have open. And it is very important that you also have as your third item while you're testing open. Please have the admin panel open, because as a reminder, if I click on refresh here, I will see my participant that was just created in the admin panel, and I can double check their information here. So if I click on the participant's name, I should see their email, their consent form, the activities that they've completed, which I have not completed any of them, messages that they've received, messages that they will receive. Again, the to be sent column are the email messages that they will receive. Health data and notes you can skip. Pinned messages is only for mobile. I'll see the coordinator form, which is a gift card tracking form, and coordinator proxy data entry will show me all of the surveys that are available for eVisit 1 and their status. After you've reviewed all the basic information to verify that it's correct on the tabs, also review the reports. So the reports are going to, as a reminder, show you information that can help you manage your study. So the study maintenance reports are going to give you the information about activity, eligibility, recruitment, user contact, all of that. So make sure your test user is included in these reports. And again, reports run every day around 5 p.m. So if I created my test user today, they won't appear until tomorrow. Study data reports will provide all of the information that the participant responded to in their surveys. So you can download this report or these reports and review the survey entered responses for your participant and make sure that that information is also accurate and viewable. Okay, so that is an overview on how to test your study on stage. If you find any errors while you're testing, so let's say, just as an example here, you're taking the COVID study survey and there's an answer response that's missing. Let's say that there's a typo. Let's say that there's a typo. So prefer not to answer has a typo. What you'll do is you'll pull up another form that I've created for you, and this is the SOLARS study testing log. The SOLARS study testing log is going to have a collection of all the bugs or tickets that we've created for the SOLARS study, and you can use that to track the progress of the tickets and also see how close to completion the SOLARS study is based off of number of tickets in the Excel sheet. In the stage ticket updates, we have, because I've been testing as well, we have some of the errors or bugs that I've found and their statuses. So implement social share buttons. This was something that was not available for a while, but is completed now and is on our stage website. There are some items that are still being worked on, like updating the study team contact email address. I've also provided comments on when those tickets should be completed or updated, but as a reminder, Eureka runs on a 7 to 10 day sprint cycle, which means that depending on the urgency of the issue, once the ticket is assigned to a developer, it'll take 7 days to appear on stage and 10 days to appear on production. So that's just a general timeline for being able to estimate when things will be completed, because they do take some time. These are tickets or questions that need follow-up. And then the next tab is for you guys. So I'm going to provide updates here, and if you guys find any errors, so again, using that example of there being a typo and prefer not to answer for this response, you would describe the bug, the location in the study flow. You can just say in the COVID study survey, the expectation, so you would type here what you expected that answer response to be, the Eureka ID if applicable, and a link to a screenshot or video if necessary as well. And then I will provide my responses in the Your Responses area. So use this Excel sheet to document all items or bugs that you find while testing. And then I will go ahead and provide you with timeline updates on when you can expect to have those bugs fixed. We'll use this same Excel sheet for testing the study on production. I'll provide updates here, and you will enter in any items, bugs, in the production tab when you're testing the study on production. Okay, that's it for now. Thank you guys so much, and more to come shortly. Stay tuned.